Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're live from the Birmingham Repticon Reptile Show, and I've got Leland from Riker's Reptiles with us. How you doing, Leland?
Good, man. Good. How are you today?
Doing great. Moving some snakes and educating some people and having some fun, making some relationships.
Nice. That's what it's all about, my guy.
Yeah, it's great. I love being with the kids when they discover the animals. We just sold an animal right now to some people that I couldn't get a read on, but the guy had really had his heart set on this animal and couldn't get a read on him that was what it wasn't, and just all of a sudden, well, we want this animal, so it's really great.
Yeah, it's weird when you get customers like that and they're just dry and you can't really, get anything out of them, and then all of a sudden they buy and you're like, well, okay.
Yeah, it's great.
I sold 2 at the Reptile Super Show, and they were not even stopping at my booth. One was across the way looking at bugs, and I said to my daughter, this girl's going to buy a snake. And so I called her over to my booth. We got to chatting, and she put a deposit down, and she just picked it up this last Saturday at our ballet studio. And it turns out she was a ballet dancer, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then the other guy was just zooming by, and I said, hey, like that. And he came back, and I said, so what are you looking for? Because you're really fast, and I know a lot of people here. You could use me like a Rolodex. And he says, I don't know. I'm just looking around, and I haven't really narrowed it down, and I don't really know what goes good together. And I was like, well, I'm glad you stopped, because now we can have a conversation about it. Even if you don't buy from me, you at least will get a little more information.
That's right.
So we got to chatting and talking about, different genes and what goes good together and what you could make. And then I had 2 of my buddies' snakes on my table, and they actually went well together. So I said, this one and this one would look great together. And they make this, and I showed him a picture. And I said, that's one of your outcomes. And he goes, oh, yeah, that's great. I'll take them.
Awesome.
I'm like, really? Okay.
That was easy.
Yeah. So you never know. You got to stop people, and you got to talk to everybody.
You do. And one of the things we've discovered is that the ambassador animal you choose is very likely to be the one that sells. The one that they get to hold.
Yep.
Is the one they sort of fall in love with, especially for the pet market anyway.
Yes. I sold 14 snakes the last show, and of those 14, at least 6 of them were first-time reptile keepers. It was crazy how many first-timers were out this last show.
How's it going, Blake? Good to see you. Thank you for the good luck wishes. Bosa, how's it going, Aaron? Sultan of Support. What's up, Brian? Sky's the Limit Network. And Irresistible Nikki, how you doing, girl?
What up, Nikki?
Nikki made the backgrounds and everything and made me look professional, because I'm on streams, but I've never actually hosted a live stream before this weekend. So I didn't have my background set up, didn't have my logos, my Redline shipping, their sponsors. Definitely check out Redline for your shipping needs. They're the best. They're the most experienced, and they do more than anyone else to bring this content to you. They sponsor all your favorite content. So
nice. Yeah, I lost all my snake bags. I don't know what happened to them. I bought like 50 of them, and then all of a sudden I didn't see them for the last show, so I had to go on Redline's website and pick up some more bags.
Awesome. Hey, what's up, Josh? Eric, no, Rakeem, how are you? Smash that like, hit subscribe, turn on notifications. You know. Good to see you, Josh. Hop on if you have some time, Josh.
Were you able to walk around yesterday and check some stuff out?
Yeah.
So what did you see that was cool, different?
I've seen the coolest thing is that there's some young up and coming breeders that are having like their first or second shows. That's what was the coolest. And we got to interview a couple of them yesterday. To me, that was the most encouraging thing. In terms of animals, not seeing very much. It's mostly at these shows. They're smaller shows, and most people bring their pet quality animals, and They're really geared towards the pet market and not so much towards the breeder market.
Yeah. I'm finding a lot of these shows, even the big shows, are kind of going that way, just
Yeah.
because, if you want to be successful at shows, success for you could be just meeting people, or it could be just getting out there and doing the show, or it could be selling the animals. So everybody gauges success kind of different. For me, I want to sell animals, because I'm a salesman. So
Yeah.
I want to bring to the show what people are looking to buy, and they're
That's
looking to
right.
buy pets at these shows, So I'm going to bring animals from 100 to 400, and those are the ones that are going to sell. I'll bring
That's right.
some $600 to $900 animals. I've sold a $900 animal, but it was after the show.
Yep.
So it just varies.
It really does. And now that said, I all ball python breeders, we just sort of gravitate to these shows, no matter how small or big, on weekends. And so I was able to meet some more experienced breeders too, as well. But they were less shopping and more just wanted to hang out with reptile folk.
Yeah, that's what I find too. They want to come and chill and hang out at the booth and just kind of chop it up, which is great. I love that.
It is
And then
great.
I'll sell them a snake off of Morph Market or off my website or my phone.
Well, one thing I learned something every time I do this. I don't do a lot of shows, but I learned a couple things. And one of the things I learned is, well, I had an awkward situation to start with. They were all 6 to 8 months old, and they didn't really fit in my ARS displays,
Yeah.
So I got hefty tubs
Yeah.
that were big enough to be like enclosures for a while, and I brought a heating pad and a thermostat to show people what they should get.
Mm-hmm.
But I was able to actually close the sale because I said, I'll tell you what, I'll sell you the heating pad and the thermostat, and you've got an enclosure. Someone was like, well, I want to do this, but I want to do this in August. I'm like, well, why? Well, we got to get our enclosure ready. Well, look at this. And that's as close to a hard sell as I'll ever do,
Yeah.
When you're selling a ball python or any live animal, you don't want to like put the pressure on, right? Because there's a lot of responsibility involved in taking care of an animal that's going to live for 20 years, right?
But if you don't put the pressure, sometimes you don't get the actual reason why they're not buying. So it's good to ask the questions, the buying questions, so you narrow it down and figure it out.
Because they were thrilled once they bought the animal. And so it was like, so I was able, I sold the whole package with them, and I'm going to do that now. They're only like $25 to buy the thermostats, and the heating pads are cheap on Amazon, of course. So next time I'm going to bring as many thermostats and pads as I have animals. And
That's a good way to do it. I used to have a link on my TikTok, and they could go there and buy all their supplies. So I'm really sad about TikTok.
Yeah, man, what's going on? It's crazy.
I think it'll get fixed. It'll be different, but I think it'll be fixed.
Yeah. You wonder what are I know the national security issues, but a lot of that is owning of the data. And if you just want to think about how much data China has access to us already, it kind of makes you go, well, I wasn't allowed to
bucket.
So what?
It's a drop in the bucket, really.
Drop in the bucket. And if it was owned by an American company, we've seen recently that the government definitely wants the data from American companies too.
That's what it is. The Americans can't get that data, so they're pissed off about it. And they're like, well, if we can't have it, you can't be here.
Well, I hope it gets resolved, because I know a lot of people make their livelihood there. A lot of people love it as a form of content. It's its own thing, obviously.
Yeah. I was selling 8 snakes a year off of TikTok.
Oh, wow.
I would do a live, just a feeding live or a handling live, socializing live. And then at the end, they'd message me and say, oh, well, how much is that one?
Yeah.
And then boom, I sold my lower end animals that way. So normal, I'd be selling for 100. At the show, I had to sell it for 50, but on TikTok, I was selling it for 100.
Yeah. And Palm Street, have you checked out Palm Street yet?
Oh, no.
So Palm Street has an interface and a live experience like TikTok, but it started as a plant trading network. So you would have your plants. If you sold Monstera plants. You have an auction and you get like 2 minutes to auction off an item, and people are just fighting over it, and then it sells. And a lot of plant people just making a killing on Palm Street. Well, a couple months ago at the St. Louis NARBC, Robin at Redline was demoing Palm Street for the reptile community, and we had Bob Vu and Rice Reptiles and a few other people actually auction off ball pythons right there on the live network. My wife's doing an amazing job showing the animals while we talk.
Yeah, it sounds like she's talking to some people right now.
Yep.
Palm Street, huh?
Palm Street. Yep. It's only an app. It's not a web thing, sort of like TikTok. Let's see who we got in chat. Bosa, Lace. TikTok. Never heard of her. My headphones are freaking out here. Hold on.
So had your wife held a snake before you got into snakes?
Say what?
Had your wife held a snake before you got into snakes?
No.
Or before you started keeping snakes?
You know, when she started holding snakes was when we did a show, and she wanted to show, and I was showing a lot of snakes to people, and Sophia just learned from doing that. Oh,
okay, you're
now
frozen.
my video's frozen. Hold on. Now we'll see if that gets back.
Is the Wi-Fi there pretty bad or what?
Sorry.
Hello. Well, that's working now. Let's see if my video stops working. The real reason for why I'm going live here is because, you know, we are going to do broadcasting with Keys and Wiz.
Yeah.
Right at the Atlanta Southeast Reptile.
You're gonna work out your bugs?
Yeah, and the bug that we're seeing right now is that my headphone connector needs replacing, and the camera every once in a while will just freeze on me, and I don't know why. But I'll tell you this, I don't like it.
Hey, I'm looking forward to interviewing or talking with Bob Vu on Tuesday. That's gonna be great.
Yeah, talk about your new show. It's really been kicking butt, hasn't it?
You know, I'm really enjoying it. I thought about this about 2 years ago. I was doing a short on my YouTube about a morph and just breaking down that morph on that short. And then I thought, you know, this would be better as a whole show. And then I didn't do anything with it. And then Tease approached me about doing a show with Jared, and I thought, oh man, this is perfect. We can just really dive into these morphs and then not have people coming at me like, who are you to be teaching people stuff, you know? Like they like to do. And and I'm like, you know what? That's fine. I want to learn about these things, and I want to teach others and help others learn about stuff. And you know, this is the perfect platform to do it on. So I said yes. And Jared and I are gelling, and you know, we're good friends now, and we weren't friends before. You know, like I barely knew the guy. So now we know each other, and we play Call of Duty and talk on the phone several times a week, and we have a good relationship. You know.
That's awesome.
And then you get to meet, and now you get to meet other people out there that are working specific projects, and learning about the morphs together as a community is great. People have hit me up after the shows and talked to me about it, and it's been great.
What's up, Blake? Good to see you. Well, no, not that one. This one. It's so much easier when Billy does the chat.
Right.
Good to see you in here, John Morforge. Great to see you. Yeah. So it's been good. I want to go and get someone to interview. Can you hold on?
What morphs or genetics would you like to hear more about? And I can do some research and get that show going for the future.
I really think I'd like to hear about Krypton. And
yeah, that's in the works. I think we're going to bring in Billy and some other people for that one.
Perfect, because I just think that's one of those that once people figure out
yes
that project, that the flexibility in that project, and the variable combinations you can come out with the same group of animals. It's just really flexible. And for me,
and Krypton, right?
yeah, and it gives me puzzle vibes, you know.
Yep. What else?
Scrambler.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I like that. I like Scrambler. I want to get into that.
I'd also like to see someone do a deep dive on Wookiee, because I think it's getting a lot of attention right now, you know. And
you didn't watch our Wookiee show?
You had a Wookiee show. Jeez.
Oh man, you're telling on yourself.
Mouth.
Telling on yourself right there.
I am.
Yeah, it was last week. It was good.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Replay gang.
Replay
Should I put
gang.
hashtag replay gang in the comments?
Yes, hashtag replay gang. Yeah, last week was kind of insane for me. I didn't get to watch many things last week.
Well, it looks like I might be getting a job finally.
Yeah? What's that?
Yeah, it's a interesting position. It's auditing car dealerships for their compliance issues for the state regulations, and like, it's not really for the state, it's for the owners. And then they pay us to go in quarterly or weekly or bi-monthly. And then we just audit their deal jackets, audit their lot, audit everything. I got to look through their drawers and look for driver's license sitting in somebody's drawer, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And being in the industry 22 years in finance, I really know what to look for.
Yeah, no doubt. I bet you do.
Well, so it's kind of perfect. It's a perfect job for me, like specifically. And then I would have nights and weekends and holidays off. I could do all my reptile shows I want to do, and then I could sell real estate on the weekends and start transitioning into a retirement career.
And that's what you're doing right now, right? You're showing a home right now while we're streaming.
I'm sitting in a house right now showing it. This one is $539,000.
Wow.
2-story, 3-bedroom.
Nice. It's not creepy at all that you're just in someone else's random house doing a live stream.
Yeah, this is actually not that bad because it's a new construction build, and it's somebody bought it to just flip it, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not that bad. I think it's worse if it's like somebody's house and they're here.
Lace says, Leland, don't come to my Hyundai.
Yeah, where are you at, Lace?
Congrats on the new gig, bud.
Well, I have my 3rd interview this week, this coming up week. So hopefully I nail it.
Awesome. That's a good sign. 3rd interview.
Yeah, I've put out 28 applications and only had 2 interviews.
Oh my gosh.
So it's been really weird this time. Usually I'd walk into a dealership and they'd create a position for me. That's happened 2 times where I've just walked in, they weren't hiring, and they made a spot for me.
Wow.
So it's like this time, I don't know, it's because if I'm older or because I had a year off having my hip done. I just don't know what it is.
Interesting. Theory. I have an issue with the G word anywhere just because the algorithm respected. It's a flag word and whole pack. I'm so clueless. I don't know what the G word is.
The G word?
What we're talking about. Give me a little hint there, Python Prince. Now I don't want to tell you now. Okay.
Thanks, Dwight.
Yeah, right on.
Thanks, Pie Man.
Oh, Replay G. Oh, yeah.
Replay gang.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, there's a couple episodes that I actually watched back. I went back and watched the genetic canvas back on 2 episodes just because there was so much information. I just didn't think I was getting it all the first time.
And did you learn anything from watching your own show back?
Yes. Yeah, I missed a few things. And it was on the monsoon, and it's on the hets, because this next season I'm doing 12 dual sired pairings. And wow. I'm just trying to make a bunch of het monsoon, het clown, het hypo monsoon, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And will you be, hopefully the test will be out and you'll be doing some testing, or do you have a visual monsoon and you know they're going to be heads?
Right. So it's a crystal monsoon.
Sweet.
Visual. And then every other pairing except for 11 pairings, I don't need to probably test at all. But one pairing, I might make white snakes. So if I have those white snakes, I'll have to test those.
Replay Club. Noted. Replay Club.
Replay Club. Okay.
Interesting. Well, I'm going to step away for a second. If you want
All right,
to
buddy.
talk with chat and hold it down here for one of your Earth minutes, I'm going to go tell someone I'm ready to interview them. All right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no problem.
Cool. Thank you.
So who else in the chat? I should probably open my chat. I haven't even opened the chat yet. I can just see what he's popping up. Well, it got really quiet, didn't it? Okay, I don't see any new comments. Let's throw out a topic, and then we could talk about it. When you guys go to shows, are you specifically going to pick up an animal? Do you have something in the back of your head that you're like, if I see this, I'm gonna buy it? Or do you already know what you're gonna get and you've already talked to the person and you're just going to pick it up? Because I find that to be what most breeders are doing, is doing pickups at shows, and they already know what they're getting. Like I had to bring 2 animals to the show that were pre-sold and people were picking them up. So put in the comments if you're actually going just to look for an animal and just look to see what you're gonna find, or if you're actually just going for a pickup and you've already purchased it. Oh, who do we have here? Oh, you know what? I don't know if I have it on live comments. I hopped in the live comments, I think, because I don't have a way to pin them to the top. Okay, Lace is saying, always have something in head, never find it 100%, always buy something off the wall that I wasn't planning on working.
Okay, we're having another camera outage, but that's okay because
But
we're
you do find
back.
the ball.
How's it going? We got a special guest here. This is Jose Diaz from Mutant Freaks.
How you doing?
This is
Hey,
Leland
Jose.
Rikers from Rikers Reptiles. You may know the internet famous Leland Rikers.
Right.
So tell us a little. How long have you been doing this? You got a great booth. You got like 5 tables or 4 tables, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So
sir.
how long you been doing this?
We've been doing this from 2018, 19.
2018, 19. Awesome.
I believe so.
So before the big COVID boom, you were
Exactly.
already in there.
Yeah, I was one of those.
Yeah.
By
Talk a little
bunch
closer.
of snake everywhere, but
Yeah. What are your favorite morphs to be breeding right now? What are your favorite projects?
I think I like Desert Ghost,
Yeah.
Stranger,
Nice.
Mahogany,
Mm.
and Clowns,
Mm-hmm.
Red Stripe. I have a few.
Yeah, right on. That's great.
I love Red Stripe.
Me too. Me too. And so, how big is your collection at this point after doing it for 7 years or 8 years?
I have probably like 350 snake.
Wow. How many shows a year do you do?
Wow, probably like, top of my head, probably probably 11.
Oh wow.
Oh wow, I got a question.
Yeah.
So, of those 11 shows, have you been averaging out how many snakes per show? And is it mostly the byproduct snakes that you're trying to get rid of? Or what are you mostly selling at the shows and how many basically?
Look, we always sell good at the shows. I mean, sometimes you have a kind of like a bad day, and but I work a lot in my local community. Like I'm from Panama City, and I sold a lot of snake for a lot of Spanish people.
Yeah,
Um, and I have a lot of people going to my house. I have a my room there, my reptile room, and people get love with it. And I work with the community,
Awesome.
and I'm trying to tell them the truth. What are you looking for? Basically, the truth,
Right.
because that was my hard part. Nobody told me the truth. Everybody was trying to sell me snakes.
they're puffing up.
Yeah, I just tell the truth. What are you looking for? What do you want to work on it? Well, this is a pet only, or because
Yeah.
me and my wife, we own a construction company. This is kind of my hobby, and now my kid basically started his business.
Nice.
So now we own it.
Love it.
Give me the name of your company again. I forgot, or I didn't hear it.
Mutant Freaks.
Oh, Mutant Freak. So yeah, I think I follow you.
Awesome. So you got your family here with you?
Yes, sir.
Is that your wife? Is it your son that's with you?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's great. Do you travel together often?
Yes. We travel. We go everywhere.
Awesome. What do you think of this show?
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
We sold right now probably like, I don't know, 14, 15 snakes.
Holy crap. That's
Yeah.
great.
I'm happy.
Good.
Like I tell you before, when I came to the show, my brain is like, if it's gonna be a bad day, I'm gonna be fine. If it's a good day, I'm fine. Sometimes the road is tough, but tough is who stay on the road. So if I don't sell nothing, I keep moving forward, and I keep my good move.
And you learn from it, and then you bring the different inventory the next show.
Yeah, because you don't know when you're gonna get blessed. Maybe it was a bad show today, but the next one is gonna be a blessing.
Right.
No doubt.
You never know when the Sheik of Qatar is going to walk up to your table and drop 40K.
That's right.
Exactly. Hey,
This could happen.
be
It
honest
could.
with
It
you-
happened.
be honest with you, I went to Tinley a few years ago, and I dropped $27,000 on the show. So I was one of those guys.
Yeah, you never know.
And that was back in 2022.
I think it was 2021.
2021. Yeah.
Oh, when the prices were high.
And right after COVID. Yep.
And I keep moving forward.
Man. What do you, from your work in construction, you knew how to do business, right? So what from your construction work do you bring into your ball python work? Probably the work ethic.
Be hustle. I'm not scared to, when tough time came, I just stay on the road.
Yeah.
I'm not get scared. I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, how am I gonna do this? I stay. I confront everything and just tell the truth.
And no panic selling, huh?
Yeah. So I think the truth is the key. Don't hide nothing. Like, when I first started, nobody mentioned me about mice on the snakes. So when I got that on the first time,
Right.
I don't know what to do.
Right. Because no one talks about it.
No, people scared.
Yeah.
People scared. I'm not scared. I mean,
like everybody's going to get mites at one point or another.
people scared.
Yeah,
But
dogs get fleas, and nobody's ashamed of their dog when it gets fleas.
Right.
People get kind of like embarrassed about, oh,
Well,
my got respiratory infection. People
yeah,
get like scared to say it. Hey,
yeah,
if I got a one respiratory infection at my collection, that I'm lucky that I don't have that. But
yeah,
I move forward. What is next?
yeah,
It's
right.
not the end of the world.
Yeah. It's interesting. There is sort of a stigma around some of these things. And because of that, we end up not preparing people because we're not willing to talk about it. We don't prepare people for the eventuality that will happen. So,
Yep.
it's like, this is like we had a snake with a prolapse. And thankfully, someone sent me the link to the Snake Discovery has a video on how to handle prolapse
Yeah.
and how
And
to
they
use,
got one on mites too.
and they got one on mites too. That's exactly right. And even Ozzy has a good one on mites, has a good video on how he prevents against mites.
And Reach Out Reptiles has a good one.
Yep.
And the best thing Brian Gundy taught me just to do like a quarterly just in case treatment, even if they don't have mites.
Right.
But I do shows, so I have to do it, and I treat before show, and I treat after show, and I treat a week after the show, even if I never see a mite. So I'm treating 4 to 5 times a year myself, even if I don't have mites.
Awesome. So I'm reading the chat here. Is it true that TikTok is back up?
Yeah.
So what happened? How did they come back up? Does anyone know? Put it in chat.
You know what happened.
Trump?
Of course.
Trump likes his TikTok.
Yeah, he does.
My boy.
He might have got someone to buy it. Maybe he got someone to buy it, but
maybe he bought it.
He could. But it's a big, it's a lot bigger than the US. That platform's a lot bigger than the US.
Yeah.
It's funny because when that happened last night,
yeah,
everybody in my room, they was sleeping early. It was like, normally they stay in TikTok for I don't know how many hours. Yeah. Last night, everybody was early in bed.
That's great.
That was
it was at our house too.
Well, thanks so much for interviewing, and
it's a pleasure.
Appreciate it. This is his first interview he's ever done, so I'm glad got that done, and we'll have you on as a guest on future shows. All right.
Mutant Freaks. Go check them out. Give them a follow.
Mutant Freaks.
Freaking
awesome.
Mutant.
Thank you so much, Jose. Jose Diaz, Mutant Freaks.
Yes, sir. That was good.
Wow. Can you imagine 300 snakes? Impairing 300 snakes?
Yeah.
That's quite a collection.
Sophia's just selling these animals.
Nice.
She's doing great. She has basically, I've sold one and she sold 3.
Nice.
So, pays to bring the eye candy.
Yeah, right? And maybe a softer face to look at.
Yes.
Maybe she's more approachable. I don't know. When Emma's up there holding snakes and showing snakes off, I get a crowd.
Wow. What do we have in chat? Blake says, I was TikTok famous under a different name, almost 2 million followers. I owe a lot to, made a lot, seen many red flags, reason to ditch the app. People hate me for my opinion today. Well, you have your own experience. You've earned your own opinion. That you've actually done it, and you have a more educated opinion than any of us.
Yeah, 2 million's great.
Yeah, I couldn't use TikTok because I do internet security for companies, and TikTok is one of those apps you can't have on your phone along with WhatsApp. if you're working with these companies. So there was a thank you message to Trump, but honestly, it felt pretty calculated gimmick. I'm certain. Yeah, if you smell it, it's what it is. Yep. Who knows? Well, anyway, we've got a couple more people to interview today. We want you to check out Leland's show on Tuesday night. What time is it? Is it 8 o'clock Eastern?
Yeah, it's 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. And it's about an hour to 2 hours, just depending on how many examples they have and how deep we're going to dive into that morph. So it's just kind of been varying. And we typically have 2 guests, maybe sometimes 3, just depends, because sometimes people only have like 5 examples, or 6 examples, or they're just starting. And we like to start with like the basic form and then work it up from there so that we can see side-by-side comparisons too.
That's awesome, because that's what you don't see at a show very often. You'll have, you'll see something like, I remember even at a place like Tinley, you'll see, Stranger and Clown, but you won't see it with, another Gene. You won't see it with Hurricane.
Yeah, they don't bring their whole clutch. They only bring the ones they want to get rid of. And
That's
typically
right.
You need to see the other examples in that same clutch to make a determination of that animal that you're looking at,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I wonder what, back to the TikTok thing, Constrictly Business had their last Naughty Business podcast on TikTok. I wonder if they'll be back after this. They're moving to YouTube. I hope they move to YouTube also. I hope they do YouTube in addition to TikTok, because we need their content on YouTube.
Yeah, and TikTok, it just seems like it would share out to more people. I would do a live on TikTok and I would get 12,000 people. I'd immediately, at the end of that, go right onto YouTube and do a live on YouTube and have 5 people.
Exactly.
So it's just, there's no comparison.
Yep. It's crazy. What are some of the upcoming episodes? Are you allowed to talk about what you're working on for upcoming episodes?
Yeah, we're going to be doing Ultramel's coming up.
Sweet.
And then we have, like I said, we have Bob Balls talking about his gene. That one's coming up first. And then...
That's voodoo, right?
Yeah, the voodoo gene. Is it gene or morph? Is it okay to say
either.
Both? It's either, right?
Gene, morph, yeah, either.
Yeah, okay. And then who's after that? Dang, I'm drawing a blank. We're like 3 or 4 shows out right now, so I know we have a couple more. I just can't remember.
Sweet. Okay.
Jared's not in the comments, huh?
Jared's not in the comments. We've got Nikki has shared out the link to folks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. So one of the things I've really been passionate about over the past couple months, and I've talked about it some on Billy's show, is our need to bring people into the hobby. And sometimes I think we need content like yours to really educate people on these very complex subjects like morphs. And then we also need content like Snake Discovery, who I watched, that actually helped me choose ball python as the snake I wanted to breed, you know? And so so we need to, in our shows, what we've been talking about with some other streamers and podcasters, is that in our shows, we need to try to bring more people into the hobby and try to be a little more newbie friendly on some of our shows. We don't all have to be newbie friendly, but we need to encourage people to make more newbie friendly content. I think of some people like Bob Bledsoe, like
Bob's my boy.
yeah.
We went to our first reptile shows. Well, we met there, so we went together, but we met there, and neither of us had ever been to a reptile expo, and we did that together, and it was fun.
That's awesome. I met him for the first time at the Canova facility at their annual kind of get together.
Oh, nice.
And he was there making content, so I got to meet him in person. Also, why am I missing his name?
Approach Bob. If you see Bob in the public or at a show, please go up and talk to him. He's very approachable. He's a very nice guy.
He really
very
is.
cool guy to chat with. So don't hesitate to go up and say hi to Bob.
And the thing is, he's got like 350,000 subscribers or something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
On YouTube, you know?
Yeah.
And somehow I think he does it by sort of straddling the line between the pet people and the breeder people.
Yeah,
you know?
very much mostly pet people. He's talking and bringing in and new people. He's got that down. And he's got an AV background, so he's really good and polished.
Yeah, really is. His shows look great and everything. I am going to quick run over and get our next guest. So chat, talk to Leland, ask him some questions. I'll be right back.
Wow, it gets really quiet when he goes off. That mic is picking up everything at that place. I like the buzz of the show. You know, it's kind of like when you go to a baseball game. There's that buzz of the game. Nobody's got questions for Leland. Wah, wah. What do you guys think a banana ultramel pied is going to look like? Put that in the comments if you think that's going to look cool or if you think it's going to look washed out and doo-doo. Because I made ones that are het ultramel, banana pies that are het ultramel, and it really changed the pattern up and really elevated the purples and kind of ghosted the pattern on the saddles to make like a double saddle almost within the saddle. The next show I'm venting is going to be Bakersfield in February. And then the next show after that is the Bomb Project show in March.
What Bomb Project show?
Oh, yeah, March. I think it's March 1st. It's the LA breeder show. He did it a year ago, and now he's doing it again.
Awesome.
Are you going to come out for that?
I didn't know about it. Now I got to think about it.
I think it's
March.
March 1st. I think it's the first weekend in March. If you come out to that, you could chill at my pad, Craig. You don't have to go to a hotel.
Thank you. I appreciate that. My wife is taking a video while I'm streaming here. What are you looking to accomplish in 2025, Leland, with your breeding efforts?
2025 is going to be a real growth year for me because I've been breeding for almost 5 years, and each year I've only been able to hold back maybe 10 animals, and then I ended up selling 5 of them. So I've really only held back maybe 20 snakes in 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's been really, really hard for me because I was on disability 2.5 years out of 5 years.
Wow.
So it's been a grind for me the last 5 years. So this year I'm really looking forward to getting my life back on track, getting back to working, and making projects that I'm more interested in. This last year I made probably 2 or 3 clutches that were to advance my projects out of 11 clutches.
Right.
And had 62 hatchlings, and I think I have 12 snakes left, and I only held back like 6 snakes. So it's gonna be about growth this next year.
Holding back more animals.
Yeah, just to try to to up my genetic pool with my own snakes, you know.
Let's talk. Kurt says, "What do you think? What do you think about the longevity of a project like Clown Hypopide? What's your opinion on that?"
I think if I had Clown Hypopides as my base for everything, there would be a lot of ways I could go. I don't even have a Clown Pied. I bought into the Clown Pied project 3 years ago, and my female wasn't het clown. They lied to me, and that project went out the window. So I still haven't made a Clown Pied. I'm getting a Clown Pied, an Orange Dream Clown Pied from Kyle Hoffman when it's ready. And then that's how I'm going to start my Clown Pied project, basically, back up.
Awesome. Banana Ultra Pieds will be interesting, perhaps a little.
Yeah, the banana. If you look on my Instagram, I've posted up now because they shed is the banana pieds that are het ultramel, and it really changed the color palette and it really changed the pattern up. It almost looks like a super banana kind of coloration. It's really wild. So when I get the ultramel in there, it's gonna be just absolutely crazy, I think. And I have a female from this last season, ultramel pied, and it was a burgundy line ultramel, a cross that I made, and then I'll grow that one up and then put it to one of the males I made this year, and then make something really cool with that. And that burgundy line ultramel is smacks on a different level. It's just way nicer.
I don't believe I've ever seen one.
Yeah, go onto my Instagram, and you can see all the hatchlings. I sold one to Sammy, and when he got it and took it out of the box and looked at it, he was just like, "This is next level, brother." Crazy.
That's great. What else we got?
I paid $3,500 for that male, and he was $1,000 more than any of the other males out there, and he looked way nicer. So I thought, I might as well just swoop up on this one that looks better. And he's producing really nice animals. And he didn't fade out to any kind of browns or anything like that. He faded to more of a marigold yellowish kind of color, which was interesting. Yeah. And then I got a female pied het ultramel from Tristan at Upscale Exotics. Yep. And it was a super pale yellow pied as well. So I put those two together and just really killed it.
Awesome. Dwight says, "Don't forget the yellow belly." Yeah,
yellow belly does help, but I'm trying to limit the amount of yellow belly just because I don't want to have too many white snakes.
Yeah, I'm actually for my show animals. I'm actually breeding, super yellow bellies, ivories on purpose this year, just because I have this huge female that is awesome and a male that is also. That, and so hopefully that will satisfy the Bell complex desires of beginning pet breeders,
right?
Pet owners. Cool.
I like to breed white snakes for shows. I mean, I have a super Mojave female and a super Mojave double het hypo-pied male, and those will be going together this season for just to make white snakes because they sell.
Yep. I sure do. This year, my goal is to increase production for higher end pairings that I've done in the past, and so we're going to be focusing on Ultramel as well with Krypton and making headway on an Ultramel Hypo Cryptic.
Nice. That'll be great.
So we're a ways away from getting Hypo in it, but we're going to make some hets this year, and then also taking some freeway clown pied stuff, trying to make asphalt clown pieds.
Okay.
So that I'll have the pieces to make super asphalt clown pieds, which is really
that'll be really cool later. I want to get the hypo into the Ultramel as well.
Yeah, man. There's just not very many things you can put with hypo that makes where hypo doesn't help in some way.
Yeah. I'll be stoked if I make a chocolate hypo or a chocolate double het hypo monsoon.
Ooh,
That's going to be like, that's going to really make me super excited this year if I pop out one of those.
absolutely. I like my. I've got a black pastel DG hypo that I just love, and we're going to do some things in that project this year. It's cool when you see hypo with dark morphs and brighteners. You know, it's a cool combination.
The
Well,
super chocolate Enchi het hypo that I made this last year, or super chocolate super Enchi het hypo. I'll
oh
go back
wow,
to the mom next season after she hopefully pops out my het monsoon het hypo stuff, and then I'll put her back to the mom, and she's an Enchi chocolate hypo. So that clutch in 2026 is going to be another exciting clutch for me.
awesome. So let me see if my wife needs some help. Hold on just a second. She's got it well in hand. She's
So
explaining.
how many ball python pairings do you have this year, Craig?
25 pairings probably.
Oh wow, that's a
Probably
good number.
25. Yeah, which is way bigger than I've done before. So I had to get a new hatchling rack. I had a 1065, but that's now got grow outs in it. And
Okay.
so yeah, so I ended up getting a mini 130 to try to handle that. But who knows how many will actually land, right?
Right.
And some of them will be game time decisions as to whether or not I really need to breed them or not. But that's the plan I have right now would have 25 pairings.
Yeah, that's good. I have 22 pairings this season, and I've pared down five. I went down 5 pairings this year.
Yeah. And that's because for focus, just the genetics, or need fewer inventory, or what?
I had sold off, like when I bring in new people to the hobby that want to breed, sometimes what I'll do is I'll sell my females that I'm ready to get rid of, but then my males, I put most of my money in my males.
Yeah.
So then I'll stud the male to that female for them, get it up to 36 millimeters, and then hand it off. And this is a good way that they could get into the hobby without spending $2,000 for the male. They can only spend like $200 to $300 for the female. And then as long as they have their incubator ready to go and their housing ready to go, then I'll bring it to them and hand it off. And they have to show me pictures, and usually they're my friends at this point, and they're open with me and honest with me. And then I'll hand it off, and each time it's worked. I've done it 4 times, but it's a good way to get somebody into the hobby economically, and then they have a good experience. And then and most of the time I end up having to help them sell the snakes too.
Yeah, I bet. But this means, you're saving them the need for an ultrasound. The challenge for brand new breeders often is that if you screw something up and you miss the timing, it's another year before you get another chance at it.
Yes.
Right? And so I interviewed someone yesterday, New Vision Constriction, and they had that happen to them one time, and that was enough for them to get an ultrasound. Because you just can't lose a whole year.
I had a really hard time like grasping the concept of when they were ready when I was starting out. And I remember Porter's Pythons, Mike, was on the phone with me for like 45 minutes one time trying to talk me out of buying a clutch of just eggs to test out my incubator. That's like the real reason for the conversation. And he was like, yeah, nobody's going to sell you a clutch of eggs, brother. So nobody wants to move the eggs. I mean, you don't understand, you're not a breeder yet. And I was like, yeah, but I don't want to have, $1,000 eggs in there and then something go wrong or it not be set up correctly. And then I lose that whole clutch. I'd rather practice on like a normal set of eggs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for 45 minutes, he was just trying to talk me out of that. And then the conversation got into, well, like, how do you know when they're ready? I just don't understand when they're going to be ready. And I don't want to just keep pairing them and then the males stop eating. And so that whole part for me in the beginning was hard for me to grasp. So
Yeah.
I just said, you know what, I'm going to just buy an ultrasound. I could do mobile ultrasounds and then earn the money back. So I'm actually 3 ultrasounds away from earning my money back off my machine.
Amazing.
Yeah, so 3 more. I do it for $60 a pop, and I do up to 20 snakes. Nobody's ever had 20 snakes so far, but I'll do up to 20 snakes for $60 and drive an hour, each way.
That's great. Matter of fact,
But
I
what
think I remember seeing you post on Instagram once about how you were going to some place with your ultrasound.
this next year for the shows, I was thinking about bringing my ultrasound with me and doing mobile ultrasound at the show. So if
What
people
a
are
great
coming
idea.
from further away, they'll have the opportunity to do it. And then if they're buying breeder females or females, like big females at the show and kind of want to wonder or want to find out, $15, $20, I don't know how much I should charge, but I think it would be a good thing to have at the show.
I wonder what yeah, John. But it's the experience he wanted. Like you're just trying to solve the immediate need of wanting to test your incubator and wanting to see.
Yeah, and I was having an issue with the temperatures were all over the place, and I built the incubator.
Oh
So
wow.
I was really just kind of wanting to test out that incubator, and I had eggs coming, and so I was just getting really nervous about those eggs that were coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad Mike talked me out of it because I did kind of sound crazy, and I would have sounded crazy to more people,
Yeah.
if I had kept looking.
No doubt. But what a great thought about how to bootstrap people into breeding, Billy sometimes does this. Billy Rose will sometimes sell a gravid female to someone if they are at that point where they want to see, want to get into breeding and learn all that stuff without needing an ultrasound or when to know to pair and all that kind of stuff.
So do you put all of your money into your males, or do you kind of mix it up, or how do you decide where to spread the money when you're buying your snakes?
I'm really trying to think less about having. It's difficult when I started building more double recessive projects. You really need to start with the females and have the building blocks in place for the recessives you want, right?
Yeah.
But I've also recently been throwing in genes into the females to bring variety, codoms in the females to bring variety to the different outcomes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I started getting into Hurricane, I got females with Hurricane and Clown and head for something else, right? And then I did that because I know a male hurricane can make hurricanes with anything, but I had the recessive stuff, and I really want to be able to take like a double visual male and breed it to the female and get get different codoms. I don't want to just have all the codoms in the males. I just think you end up with a lot of similar animals. And one of the things I'm seeing at shows, especially, is if you're trying to sell these animals, if they've all got Enchi in them, for example, because your male that you bred to everybody has Enchi, is a super Enchi or something like that, these codoms really have a big effect on the look of the animal, And so I've been trying to mix in codoms in with my females and trying to get at least one visual with a head, or hopefully double visual females with some codoms in it.
Yeah. I was doing visual on the male side, and then codoms and multiple genes on the female side.
Yeah. Because honestly, I've found that the economic way to do it is to spread out the codoms among your animals, because if otherwise you're always having to buy 7 gene males, and then then you're paying really high dollars for everything.
Yeah, I still have a couple of my first group of males. Like I bought a chocolate Enchi butter hypo male.
Yeah.
Still have him. And then I bought a hypo Mojave Pied, and still got
Cool.
Jim. Still got that one.
Awesome.
It'd be crazy to sell those. I mean, they're loaded.
Dylan, log in. Do you have the link, Dylan? Do you want the link? What you working on today? Good to see you. Dylan says you are a little crazy.
A little crazy? Come on.
That's great.
Yeah, if you missed it, this last Friday night, Dylan was doing a smoke show showing off his animals, man. You got to go back and recatch the hair down, Friday night hair down. And he really, for probably 20, 30 minutes was showing his big snakes, and it was beautiful. They were beautiful.
Amazing. Yeah, he showed his what do you call it? A super monsoon.
Yeah.
Worm.
The pied worm.
And he was showing his Chernobyl stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's great. Tonight, what do we have on tap for streaming tonight?
What is today?
What's
Sunday
your-
night. Breeding for the Future, right?
Breeding for the Future. Yep.
Yeah, Breeding for the Future.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I'm going to take a break here for a while, and then we're going to go back live at 2:30 for another hour, and then we'll be done.
All right, Craig. Good chatting with you.
Thank you
And
for
everybody
coming
in the
on. I
chat.
appreciate you being a guest, and thank you for everybody in chat. John, I see you in there. Leland is wild, and yes, that Chernobyl stuff looks fantastic. Yep. Awesome. Well, we're going to sign off for about an hour, and thank you everybody for joining and watching, and for everyone in the replay club.
Like Mickey Mouse Club, huh?
Yeah. Thanks. God bless. Goodbye.
Bye.